New Orleans Saints, Atlanta Falcons preview. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from new NFL. They're a straight up YouTube channel. So this is from the NFL. So I can't wait to see how this is. This should be good. Before we go to that, though, take a look at this. Saints injury report. So since the last time we chatted, Eric McCoy has had groin surgery, and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Not good. If you are familiar with Dante's Inferno, the novella, I guess it would be, who knows? The drama. There's 9 layers of hell. If there was a 10th layer of hell, it would be right here. It would be right here. It would be this. The Saints injury report. Derek Carr, groin. Taysom Hill, chest. DeMarco Jackson, calf. Kalen Saunders, calf. Landon Young, foot. Alante Taylor, sick as a dog. Demario Davis, hamstring. What's this? Alvin Kamara, hip and ribs. Hip and ribs? Cesar Ruiz, knee. Go ahead and toss Eric McCoy on there for 6 to 8 weeks. Holy Christ. Nicholas Underhill and Mike Triplett have reported that Alvin Kamara is dealing with a hip pointer / rib situation. Holy God. I mean, you're talking about possibly having definitely having Eric McCoy out, possibly having Cesar Ruiz out. What's going on here? I mean, I might have to play offensive line. Alvin Kamara might be out. Oh, it's not like we use him a lot. He only had 30 carries last game. Okay. No big deal. No big deal. Oh, wait, Derek Carr's on there? No big deal. It's not like we're playing a difficult team or not like we have a big game coming up. Oh, it lulls. It's the Atlanta Falcons. Not good. Okay. Not good at all. Now, the Falcons are dealing with some injuries. They have some offensive line problems. Caleb McGarry, I believe, is an MCL. Don't quote me on that. But he was knocked out in the Chiefs game. I would be shocked if he plays. Okay. Let's go ahead and listen to this and react like only we can do.
One between the Atlanta Falcons, who dropped a close one to Kansas City last week, and the New Orleans Saints, who were cruising along and then, bam, hit a big pothole.
Carr lofting into traffic and picked off!
All that talk in the NOLA about maybe the offense, maybe being legit unstoppable, came to a screeching halt last week. Derek Carr hoping to get to a tire shop to fix that flat he got after facing Philadelphia. Just 142 yards, 5.7 yards per attempt, only 1 touchdown, 1 pick, a sub-70 rating.
Hit at the line and incomplete. And the Eagles have forced the field goal attempt.
It wasn't really a pass protection issue. He only got sacked once and hit 4 times. The Atlanta...
2 questions. What and then the fuck? What do you mean it wasn't a pass protection issue? The whole issue was that our pass protection, namely Eric McCoy, was knocked out of the game on the 3rd play. Then Eric McCoy, who calls the protection for the line, wasn't there, so the rest of the line was completely befuddled. They didn't know what the hell was going on. We saw a ton of miscommunication. Boom. You saw what happened after that. So who is this guy? Who is he? Does he watch football? Why is he on the NFL's YouTube channel? This is shocking. How can you put this out there? Can you imagine if I'm sitting here and I report to y'all, hey guys, Saints got dog walked by the Eagles. Don't worry though, no issues with the offensive line. Y'all would be like, James, were you even at the game? Were you there? Like I said it all week. I'm getting fired up. I said it all week. It's a red flag. It's an obvious red flag if people don't mention Eric McCoy, because it tells you they're not watching the game. It tells you they're just box score watching, because you have to go deep into the injury report to see Eric McCoy, right? You just look at the game, you say, oh, sacks, oh, pressures, oh, hits, not a big deal. But then you look a little deeper and you're like, okay, it entirely was a pass protection issue.
The defense he takes on next didn't bag Patrick Mahomes once, but their secondary can make things tough on Carr either way. They still held Mahomes to 217 yards, just 5.6 yards.
Chiefs haven't been good. Chiefs could easily be 0-3. Chiefs could easily be 0-3. Atlanta could easily be 3-0. It's an interesting situation. Atlanta had, arguably their worst game against Pittsburgh, but then, the Eagles game, they won, but probably should have been a loss, but whatever. It's a win. All right, so that's 1-1. And then the Chiefs game, they easily could have won. A lot of red zone issues. So could easily be 3-0. And the Chiefs, you're talking about the Bengals, should have lost. Ravens should have lost, and Falcons should have lost. So
yards per attempt and a sub-90 rate picked him off.
Mahomes lost it. It's intercepted. Unbelievable Justin Simmons.
Atlanta's DBs will be tracking Rashid Shaheed. 2 monster touchdowns the first 2 weeks, 5 targets, no catch.
yeah, this is the one right here I thought he was going to get because Slay's not really looking at him. Rashid kind of comes back to the ball. Yeah, I'm not going to say you got to have it, but I thought he was going to make the play.
Last week. Chris Olave, though, comes in hot.
Yeah, Olave was really good. I mean, obviously, we're going to need Olave big time this game, especially if we don't have Kamara, because, I mean, who else do we have at that point? So we covered the Eagles game exclusively or extensively, I guess kind of both. Kubiak is going to have to figure this out. I mean, we know what we can't do again. We cannot do what we cannot run Alvin Kamara 30 times, especially if Alvin Kamara is not there. So if the game plan is Jamal Williams 25 times, I honestly may gouge my eyes out by halftime. He's going to have to throw, and he's going to have to trust that offensive line to hold up enough to let Carr and Olave and whoever cook. Atlanta's got some issues, like I said, with the offensive line. That's what kind of cooked them against Kansas City. You could see it immediately when their 2 linemen went out. That was it. The Chiefs pass rush was just out of control. They completely dominated the line of scrimmage. So I think both these teams are struggling right now. Both these teams are. This game has an under written all over it. This game has a slow, plodding, not much happening kind of style written all over it.
Caught all 6 of his targets, 86 yards and a TD.
Lofting for Olave. Touchdown, New Orleans.
Olave versus A.J. Terrell. Terrell only allowed 7 yards versus the Chiefs, but he wasn't on Rashee Rice enough. They gave up 110 yards and a score to him. D. Alford and Mike Hughes gave up 50 yards plus each. Alford faced 10 targets. All 10 of them were caught. He gave up 2 TD passes.
Mahomes throws. It's complete. It's raced to the end zone.
Third leg of New Orleans' passing table is usually Alvin Kamara, 3 catches for 40 yards in their loss. Falcons played backs as pass catchers fine versus Kansas City. Didn't handle them great as runners, though. Gave up 4.2 a carry to both Samaje Perine and
So this is good for us because we want to run the football. Now, the question is, when you see something like this, is like, can the Saints take advantage of this? With McCoy, with Ruiz, with a healthy Kamara, I would say, yeah, we could definitely take advantage of it. If it is practice squad offensive linemen mixed with Saul DeVary, mixed with Lucas Patrick at center, mixed with me playing left guard, mixed with Jamal Williams, I don't know if we can take advantage of a weak rush defense. So very concerning. The injury report, obviously, we'll have to monitor every single second of every day from now until Sunday.
Carson Steele, 97 yards combined to the 2 guys, 70 plus to Steele.
When it gets down and dirty, they can also just smash it.
Kamara the runner is up next, 87 rush yards versus Philadelphia.
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, 87 rush yards on 26 carries, which is what, a 3.7 average? Not good.
Flips his way for a first down.
It would help the Falcons offense if their Kamara could produce like that. Bijan Robinson versus Kansas City, just 21 yards receiving.
Yeah, I mean, the Kansas City defensive line, like I said, was absolutely out of control.
31 rushing, just 1.9 a carry.
Horrible play call. Horrible play call right
Close it out for Kansas City.
Maybe the Saints are the team to get right against, based on how they played Saquon Barkley anyway. Let him loose for 100.
Yep, concerning. I mean, really concerning that the Saints' run defense, no other way to put it, was embarrassing against Saquon Barkley. I think it was 7 yards a carry. So yeah, Bijan can certainly do that. Now, what we have to see is exactly what happens with the Atlanta offensive line, because the Atlanta offensive line was a reason, the injuries was a reason why Bijan couldn't get going against the Chiefs. So if they're down offensive linemen, just like we are, then it kind of negates a lot of the advantage.
147 yards, 8.6 a run, gave up 2 TDs to him.
And when he gets through the second level, he is gone.
Saints defenders also have to shore up some pass defense deficiencies. Allowed Jalen Hurts to go for 300 plus yards, over 8 yards per attempt.
Hurts. I mean, yeah, like we do have to be better, but 170 of these are to Dallas Goedert. So, Now, Atlanta certainly poses more threats in the passing game than Philadelphia did. I mean, Philadelphia, once Devontae Smith got injured, it was literally just Goddard. Now, Smith did have, 80 yards. I mean, when you look at this and you think 170 to Goddard and 75 or 80 yards, whatever it was to Smith, then you're talking about 250 yards were to two people. So Hurts' stat line's a little misleading.
Hits the crosser and has 23 yards on the first play of this drive.
They didn't give up any TD passes, and they did pick him off once, but they allowed 170 yards to tight end Dallas Goedert. Huge play that set up Philadelphia for the win.
Dallas Goedert is wide open! 60 yards from Hurts to Goddard.
Atlanta has Kyle Pitts at tight end. He racked up 59 yards, big 50-yard pass play, too.
Cousins has time. He's got his tight end, Kyle Pitts.
Saints corners gave up 79 yards to Devontae Smith. Falcons trot in Drake next. London, a touchdown, 67 yards versus KC.
Yeah, I mean, Lattimore, before the season, I kept saying we have a top 5 defense. These are the kind of games where you're going to have to see it.
Wide open for the touchdown, Drake London.
And Darnell Mooney with 8 catches, 66 yards. Mooney, Pitts, London, the main 3 guys Kirk Cousins relied on last week. Kirk went 20 for 29, 230 yards.
Big time start here at home for Kirk Cousins.
Had some ups, had some downs, some strikes, and some gutters. Only ended up in the gutter 2 times. Those 2 sacks only worth 1 yard, too, but he got hit 10 times, pressured over 40% of the time. That's Scooby Snacks high. And New Orleans has a pass rush that can do something with that. Bagged Hurts 4 times. Carl Granderson, 1.5, has 3 in his last 2.
I mean, this is a big part of it. Like, we're going to have to get after Cousins. There's no other way around it. The defense is going to have to get to Kirk Cousins. The defense is going to have to stop the run. And it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a low-scoring game. So if the defense if we cannot get to Kirk Cousins and we can't stop Bijan, if Bijan is on pace for like a Saquon Barkley type situation, that is not going to be good for us.
Games. Defensive tackle Brian Bresee with 2, also has 3 in his last 2.
Hurts is in trouble. Hurts is sacked.
Oh yeah, and as for that one call, Rise Up, you know the one that Raheem Morris called I Like My Money. Yeah, look at it. It's got I Like My Money all over it. It's so I Like My Money, it's crazy how I Like My Money it is.
No question, that should have been a penalty.
It's the Battle of the South. This is the ultimate rubber match. They are tied 55-55 in the overall series. So who takes it? You tell the world who you think comes out on top in the comments section. That's what it's there for. Our panel of 10 does it on the last screen, which is...
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, these look about right. Like, they're all low scoring. They're all super close. This is what we're in store for. 24-20, 2017, 17-14, 21. Like, this is exactly what we're in store for. It's hard to determine the winner right now because we don't know the injury report. Like, obviously, if Cesar Ruiz and Taysom aren't playing and Alvin's not playing, and it looks totally different. It's just similarly, if Atlanta's missing a couple offensive linemen, so we got to see how that goes. But this is what we're in store for. We're in store for another game very similar to Philadelphia, where I don't think either offense is really going to get much off pause. Atlanta probably has the biggest advantage if they can run the football. Like, they are suited to run the football. We have not proved we can stop the run. And if Atlanta does that, controls the game, might be difficult for us. If New Orleans can get back to what they were in the first 2 weeks, take advantage of a relatively weak Atlanta defense, then we might be okay. We're coming off of a game where we have a ton of questions. So it's hard to have a ton of confidence in what exactly we're going to see, especially with the injuries kind of factored in there.
Is what it's there for.
All right, so there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a crazy week. It really is. I mean, this is as important of a game as you can have in week 4. The Saints need to right the ship. The Saints are 2-1. You lose this game, 2-2. You're on the road to Kansas City, staring 2-3 right in the face. And all of a sudden, you're on a 3-game losing streak, and then you got to play Tampa Bay. You're 1-1 in the division at that point. That's a way different story than 2-0 in the division, 3-1 heading to Kansas City. The Falcons aren't a pushover, but they're not an elite team. They're worse than Philadelphia, I think. Now, granted, you're in Atlanta, but I would say Atlanta's a step down from Philly. especially factoring into like the offensive line stuff. Cousins still doesn't look 100%. Will he ever be 100% again? I don't know. But we're gonna have to watch the injury report because there's not a whole lot else we can dive into until we know exactly who's playing. Keep your eyes glued on that. But let me know, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting this whole preview kind of part of the week. Let me know where you come down on this, what your thoughts are. I will see you in the next video.